your business is out there, or whatever you're talking about is out there, and the people who are in your life can connect the dots. And at this point with this particular friendship breakup, it's not really something that ended nicely, and it involved other people, and it just was left hanging. It ended messy. Magnified family, what it do? Welcome back, family. If it is your first time here, welcome. I hope you make it a stay. Also known as Mama Magni. For all of you guys coming back again, welcome home, baby. Welcome home. I'm so thrilled to be doing this again. I'm so thrilled to be back. I know last week's video was very heavy, but it really needed to be done. Thank you so much for everybody who watched it. In case for those who have not gotten a chance to watch it, please go back to the previous video just to catch what I am talking about. Today I wanted to zoom in. Obviously you would have seen by the likes of the topic down here, zoom in on something that I feel like we don't ever really talk about. It is a major part of our lives, right? But before we go, are you subscribed? Ma'am, sir, are you subscribed? I'm going to wait for you for 3 seconds. Please subscribe. Please click. If it doesn't say subscribed, you're not subscribed. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you comment. Don't leave me hanging in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you guys. Our community is growing and we're well on our way. We're halfway, actually, past the halfway mark of being monetized. So keep liking, keep subscribing, keep watching. We need those watch hours in there. Okay, so let's get into the video. Mama magnified. Mama magnified. Okay guys, so today I wanted to talk about something that's, I wouldn't say it's light, but I feel like it's something that we don't often touch on, which is friendship breakups. So like a pandemic friendship breakups. Guys, okay, you know, Mjolo breakup, push up one side. I feel like we've sort of figured how to deal with that. Yeah, the friendship. Guys, limaka, why is up week? Firstly, it's not something that I think is very foreign to anyone. I feel like maybe at least once in your life you've gone through at least one breakup. And if you haven't, because and I hope you never really have to go through it. So I'm not going to really go into detail with regards to the friendship breakups that I've gone through, but I think I've probably gone through 2 major ones in my big age. I can't remember anything, guys. High school, yeah, second break, please meet us by the tree. And then you get to the tree and then you said my underwear was showing, and then you said I have a crush. Oh no, I'm not talking about those. Okay, those high school petty ones, study scheme. No, I don't even think we knew what we were doing. I don't even think we even understood human relations. I don't even think we understood what relationships require, right? I'm talking in our big age when you really bonded with someone and you really genuinely connected with them and you really saw a future with this person, quite similar to romantic relationships, right? So I think I've had 2 major ones and both of them didn't really end well. I would have thought that I would really want to have a young sit down limutu and say, okay, you know, sit down on a table and let's be adults, let's talk things through. We don't have to talk to reconcile, but let's just iron things out so that we hear each other out. And unfortunately for 2 of my friendship breakups, it did not end like that. One was a little bit mild, which I can say wasn't really it ended, you know, when just everybody just carries on living their own life almost, and you've never really, you know, you guys are not sort of in the same circle for you to bump into that person again. But it's also sort of ended because, I mean, Sana, if we're not calling each other on our birthday, that's one of the things where, you know, you're out of my life, you know. But I contacted her on her birthday, obviously politely responded to say thank you, but generally not really keeping in touch anymore. I don't know if that type of ending can be rekindled, but there was this one other major one which I don't really want to share and get into details because unfortunately once you are on the YouTube streets or the social media streets, your business is out there, or whatever you're talking about is out there, and the people who are in your life can connect the dots. And at this point with this particular friendship breakup, it's not really something that ended nicely, and it involved other people and it just was left hanging. It ended messy, but it also sort of made me very sad to realize that sometimes we do stay in friendships that we shouldn't be staying in, and sometimes you don't realize when you're in it how toxic this thing can be. you also don't realize your part in it. You don't realize your accountability. You don't realize where you could have done things differently. You don't realize how you just turned a blind eye on certain things. And unfortunately, the biggest part for me in this one particular friendship that ended, my biggest part in it where I can say I was unfair is that for the many years that I was in the friendship, I don't think I did a disservice to the person, because all along there were a lot of red flags that I was seeing. But at the time, I didn't realize they were red flags. For me, it was just the friendship. I love you. I'm there for you. You're there for me. But when the friendship finally did end, and then you look back in retrospect, and then you start connecting the dots, and then it's like, whoa, And I feel like that is unfair towards the other person, where I'm coming from. If I don't sit the person down and say, okay, listen, can we please go back? At this point, this is how I felt, and this is what I didn't like. Or at this point, this is where I start seeing our friendship was going down. Or at this point, I should have ended the friendship. Or at this point. But it's very difficult to sit someone down and say, okay, right, as we were 13 years ago, and then utlale, So some things I really feel like, you wish you could have been more sober-minded, you could have been more present, you could have been more intentional. But if you didn't see it, then it becomes quite difficult, So I just have written down a few pointers about 6 reasons why friendship breakups are so hard, right? So I don't really want to talk about my friendship breakups in particular, but I want to start this conversation for all of us. And you could have other reasons why friendship breakups are so hard, but I think they are more messier than a romantic relationship, right? The first reason I have here is, 6 reasons why friendship breakups are so hard. Number 1, I've said, you're not ready to let go of the past. So obviously in a lot of these friendships where you're building something, right? You've probably have built a future together as well. You've built, when we have our first children together, when we get married, when you whatever. But that's more your plans for the future. But when we look at the past, like I said, when you have to now introspect and look back in terms of what you guys have shared, 13 years, maybe you guys grew up together, maybe you guys went to high school together, maybe you guys even were dating friends, or maybe, there's so much things that you guys shared in the past that was so near and dear to you guys, and you're not able to let that go, and just to transition to a new life without this person is just somewhat like, it's not making sense. Like, what do you mean we must let go of the past? So it makes it very hard to accept that the friendship is over if you're not able to let go of the past. And that's why I'm saying something like a sit-down conversation with someone, difficult as it may be, could be necessary to say, okay, we're parting ways. What are we parting ways on? What basis? This one can say how they feel. This one can say how they feel. So that there's some level of closure, and then you are able to, firstly, to accept, because acceptance is the first step, and then you'll be able to let go of the past, to say, let's show you pelile, man. Let's close the curtains, Utswela pele ka bophelo. Number 2, the friendship ended abruptly. That is the one thing that can make it very, very difficult for a friendship breakup to be like palatable, right? Like I said, one of them for me was, actually both of them was, one was very abrupt, but I don't think it's ended completely. We just sort of, the other one was very abrupt, but like it was a prolonged abrupt. And things that end abruptly really just leave you, like they leave your mind boggled. You'll always be playing out scenarios. Oh, what if this, what if that, or maybe or maybe could it be, or maybe, you see, so you have like things hanging, unresolved things that are hanging. But because it ended abruptly, no one had a sit down with anyone or a letter written or whatever. It's always like a hanging door that's like half open, half closed, but it's ended. Essentially, you can see it's ended, but it ended so abruptly that no one even had time to say, I saw it coming. Like, kadi breakups, I'm jolo. You prepare yourself mentally. Okay, I'm tapping out of this relationship. I'm preparing my exit. Okay, I saw, Whereas with a friendship that ends abruptly, it's just like, yo, what happened? Yeah. Number 3, you fear you'll never find a friendship connection similar to this one again. This one I don't think I can particularly relate to, but I do know that there are people who have been in those situations where it's just like, yo, the type of friendship that I rocked with this person, I'll never be able to have with someone else, which is a fair fear, right? Because people are different, and you'll never have the same connection or vibe or relationship with 2 people. So maybe if this one particular person's relationship or your friendship with that person was so unique, it brought out a different side of you, it was able to make you have a different outlook on life, you may certainly have a fear of, ngiyamthola futhi kuphi omunye umuntu where we can like have this type of vibe, you know. But I think that's one of the things that come with life, where there's no two people who are the same anyway, whether Kim Jolo or whether it's a job, whether it's whatever. There'll never be two things that are the same. So we really need to get into the hang of understanding that unique, it was here for this, and then when another job comes or another car comes or another pair of shoes comes, it will never be like the other. But there is that fear of I'll never find something similar as well. So let flavor if almost strawberry, if strawberry, if ubale friendship ya vanilla, enjoy vanilla, get tasty less strawberry. So it can be difficult though if you really are longing for that type of similar connection. Number 4, you wonder whether your friendship would have ended if you had done something differently. So this one I do sort of relate, because you especially when you're of a mature age, you know, it's easier to point fingers, but you really have to sit down and have very, very, very difficult conversations with yourself to say, what was my part in it? Because it's very cocky for someone to think, I'm the victim, but guys, let's be honest, it's very rare that you get a situation where it's just one person one way doing things to you to make your life a misery, and there isn't any part that you're playing in it. So that does become a difficult thing to deal with when you wonder, maybe if I had, like when I started this video now, I was saying, I know there's one particular friendship where I know my husband actually helped me think it through to say, this is your biggest thing here, like your lesson that you're taking out of this. At those points where you saw, I'm an friendship, I will make sure I should have spoken up. Whether I'm speaking up for it to be fixed, or speaking up so that the other person's aware, or speaking up even for me to acknowledge that I should have done that and seen it for what it is, and then digested it versus trying to come after years and say, right, send petit oketi of amatala for all these years. That is not fair. So I think that is one of the things for me, particularly when I reflect on that point where you're saying you wonder whether the friendship would have, had a different trajectory if you had done things differently. Number 5, you believe others in your life may not relate or understand to what you're going through. And this is sort of similar to the other one that we spoke to. A friendship and a relationship is between two people. It's like someone who's in an abusive relationship. Obviously, people looking from outside in are just like, why are you not leaving? Like, uduzi wanyana, uduzi, get out. The red flags are redder than redder, they maroon. Why are you not leaving? But most times, unless you're in a particular similar situation, you'll never understand who's in that situation. Or people outside in are just like, I only needs help. Okay, like she must leave. But if you are not in it, it's not really something you'd be able to understand. And that's why you may have this belief, someone who's outside of this may not be able to really relate or understand to what I'm going through, which is a fair thing to fear, which is a fair thing that will leave you feeling debilitated about a friendship breakup. The last one that I have here is that you are getting updates about your former friends, or you're keeping tabs on them through social media. Lasha, get off that bus. Tocha, klima. Don't do that. Ooh. I'm gonna say don't do that, but also guys, I think as a friendship ends, it's not the easiest switch off thing that you do, right? I don't think in particular in the beginning the updates from other people. Remember, we also don't, I always say the friendship it's not like affidavit with Jumang Mina I did bani I now therefore end this friendship, so we didn't update your people around you. You didn't even update the person. The friendship ended abruptly, but so Lily Fandi best, Lily same WhatsApp group, Hona no omunko TikTok, omunko WhatsApp, omunki banana, omunki apule, So although yes, you don't owe anyone an explanation, but people baletse bango Lily Fandi 1, Halisa Lefandi 1, Lily Fandi 100. It becomes difficult for them not to be like, oh, when and the person's probably rolling their eyes, or in the beginning they don't want to say it, because now you also have to relive everything and feel triggered. How about you? So this thing of you're getting updates, yes guys, it happens. Is it right? Is it wrong? If people don't know or don't have context, maybe they're not wrong. They're not probably coming from a bad place, but there are those who are coming from a bad place in the sense that they know they know so it becomes that spicy, you know, and particularly libo, you know, you still are going through their social media. That does happen a lot, especially if you didn't have closure, especially if someone just carried on with their lives and a friendship fella amicably. You still are left with that hanging thing out. Or is her life really going on? Similar to romantic relationships, guys, we've all done it, where you just with your ex. So, and if he's blocked you, you've got a friend who's helping you do the stalking. That can make the friendship breakup even more difficult, because like you're not moving on with your life. You're still left hanging on what's happening. You're still getting updates. And remember, some of the updates you're getting could trigger you even more, because you guys had planned when she gets her first car. So now she's gotten her first car. Now you were healing. Now it's downward spiral. You know. Now you're getting updates. Oh no, she's gotten married, or you know, and everything will trigger you, because the friendship if ka comma or dot I feel like a full stop affidavit list peace out, say good right, you know. So I think, just as a summary, really, when it comes to friendship breakups, they are very tricky. I think that there was only one particular friendship breakup that took me a very long time to not accept. I knew I had to end it, this one particular friendship. It was something I should have ended long ago, and I didn't, you know. And it wasn't because I didn't love the person, but I wish I had more ways to understand and to articulate and to analyze and to, you know, see this was not what I thought it was, right? And this one particular friendship was really, really difficult to close the chapter, in the sense that I knew I had to end it, but I still love this person. I don't know if you guys get me, or if ever been in that situation, but essentially it then became a thing of, because I knew it had to end, and I'm like I've shared in my other videos in terms of my journey of working on some of my areas of development as personal development have been boundaries. So I knew this particular friendship had to end because of boundaries, but it didn't make it easy to just be like, keep it moving, because I genuinely still love this person. I genuinely still prayed for them. I genuinely still loved them. I genuinely still even thought about them, you know. And unfortunately for me, I would even still have like a lot of dreams, a lot of visitations, a lot of, you know, spiritually, even God would show me that the person's not okay. Not really particularly related to our friendship breakup, but 2-3 years post the friendship breakup, like I would just be so heavy, and unfortunately I wasn't in a position to pick up the phone and say hey, and I was still praying for that person, because that is what God would expect of us. I still probably genuinely love this person, but I don't think the friendship was serving either of us, actually. So it was difficult. It is difficult. I don't know why we don't talk about friendship breakups, guys. Well, it's a week at all now. Everyone goes through them, and this tricky man, Dina lebo monopolinyana, bu snakes and ladder, you know. Before you know it, you're all the way down, or you're going up a ladder is happening. Before you know it, go to jail, move directly to jail. Do not pass begin. Do not collect 200. So I just wanted to come on here and just share and talk a little bit about those, because wow, guys, like, and I mean, the older we grow, for me particularly, I used to have very big circles, right? I used to think I'm just like, I love people, but the older I'm growing, my circles are becoming smaller. It's just more about a handful of quality people in your life, and those friendships have become so wholesome. They've become a sisterhood. They've become ride or dies, not even ride or dies, like they've become sisters in your life. They've become people who are my soulmates. I believe in soulmates, even in friendships. You guys have seen the previous video where I say I've got friends who I know are just now the friends that we have now, we pray together. We are there for each other. We're not there for each other highly. No, we are there peeling, we are there praying. We are there in the pits, we are there in the, you know. So the friendships that we have now in my big age are very, very, they deep. And they deep ka gore we also hold each other accountable. They deep ka gore ra khuzana. They deep ka gore, no, friend, we're not gonna sit here and gossip about this person. You are wrong. Go talk to this person or pray for that person. We're not gonna sit here and gossip about this person. You have a duty to pray for this person. So I'm quite glad of the evolution of friendships in my life, and just the evolution of as well, and looking at my part in it, and working on things that I need to work on internally, because nobody's perfect, right? And I know there's people who are like, I don't need friends, I've got my husband. I'm not one of those people, okay? My husband and I firmly believe in having very close people who are our friends outside of our marriage, that obviously we are within reach of, but we believe in having an outlet for each other outside of our marriage. So I am so glad, but also I'm just like, why have we not spoken about friendship breakups, you know? But all in terms of friends, I mean, different strokes for different folks. Some people just believe in acquaintances, no friends, I keep you there. Some people have friends at different levels. Some people, hey, that's not what this is about. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much, guys. Drop me down below if you've had any difficult friendship breakups. What's made your friendship breakups difficult? Have you had any major ones? Maybe you haven't. What's made you recover from certain friendship breakups? I really would love to hear from you guys. But for now, this is where it's going to end. Thank you so much, you guys. Magnified. 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 Till I see you guys next time.